Hey guys, JLux100 here. Just wanted to say a quick update. Solomon is safe. Woo! Want to thank you guys all on here that shared and commented and tried to get Solomon out there. Um, I left an update on the video that's on YouTube here if you want to read that there. The volunteer slash rescue that shared the video of him, the one that I reposted everywhere. Um, they actually ended up rescuing him. I guess they had enough people pledge to donate. So that's a big thing with saving these. Everyone's saying, "Oh, I hope I appreciate people commenting, and it does help the stuff get seen more." But commenting, "I hope he gets saved," doesn't really help him get saved. Do you know what I mean? So the way to do it is to pledge. You pledge for a rescue to pull him, or you pledge for someone to adopt him. Most people pledge for rescues so that a bad actor doesn't go and just get him for money. Or you go to the shelter yourself and adopt him. And if you can't afford to pledge, that's okay. What you do is you share it. You can download the video or just share the link onto all of your social medias. Okay, send it to friends and family, send it to people that you think might be thinking about saving a dog. Please go and check out my Instagram. I still am uploading videos from dogs from the Instagram onto my YouTube. These aren't even, if you go and look through my videos right here, this is only a few of them. There's a bunch on my Instagram, and I can't even keep up because I'm reposting from two volunteers that go to the shelters in person every day and take videos and share dogs. And I'm reposting other rescues and foundations, which are basically groups of volunteers that are trying to save them. So, I'm not taking all the credit. There's a lot of other people doing a lot of work here. I'm just helping repost and trying to do my part and share and get these videos out there. So go to my Instagram, and if you go to my Instagram, not only will you see the dogs I share, but I tag and I make it easily. You can I tag all of the people that, like, the original people that uploaded the videos, the volunteers, the shelters, or the shelter volunteers, the rescues. I tag them, so you can go follow them too and see how many more dogs there are that need our help. And what was I going to say? Oh, and people asked about where some of the dogs are. I always put it in the description. It will be in the description, and the person on Instagram and stuff, not only will where the dog be is in the description, but contact information to contact them about fostering, to contact about adopting, for any questions, for who the original uploader is. I tag them so you can find them too. It's all there. And if you're going to leave pledges on my videos, please, that's also why I make it easy to find the original video, so you can also put that same pledge on the original video, help it get more views. And some rescues might be on the original video that aren't seeing mine, and some rescues might be on my video that haven't seen the original one yet, right? So you want to paste your pledge on both videos. And then, just so you know, that rescues are going to see that pledge and know that people are putting money forward, so the rescue can go and pay the adoption fee, pull the dog, save its life, and pay any medical fees, any medical bills it needs. There's a crisis going on right now, guys, and that's why I'm doing this, to try to... My socials are fairly built up. They're not massive, but this is why I'm trying to help get these dogs out here. Trying to help get them seen and try to help possibly save some lives, because thousands, I'm not over exaggerating, thousands of dogs are being killed daily in the United States. I'm in Canada here. The problem is still pretty bad here, but it is 10 times worse in the States, and it's just fucking tragic and heartbreaking. And we got to do something. People should be speaking to their local MPs down the state, speaking to the politicians down there. We need to get some changes. A lot of things need to change. There needs to be a breeding ban. We need a 10-year breeding ban. We need spay-neuter laws. We need kill shelters to be outlawed. They need more funding so they have more room for dogs so they don't need to kill them and they can keep them. And they need more funding, too, to give them a better quality of life, because some of these shelters are fucking brutal, too. They're out in Arizona is packed with like more than 900 dogs in the Arizona main shelter. And there's other shelters in Arizona, I'm sure, too, but this is the biggest one. And there's over 900 dogs there in Arizona heat with zero AC, no air conditioning. Think about that. Sitting on concrete. It's brutal. And the dog population, they can't keep up. Like, it's exploding. These shelters are full. They're packed to the brim. And they're having hundreds of dogs coming in daily. People dropping them off. Terrible people, assholes, ditching their senior dogs. Dogs that were loyal and loving to them their whole life. And these people are ditching them at fucking 8, 9, 10 years old. And just go die in a shelter. We're done with you now. You know, these awful people. We need laws, too, where if you abandon a dog at a shelter, you shouldn't be allowed to get another dog or adopt one until you go get the dog you ditched at a shelter back. And if you don't, then you shouldn't ever be allowed to adopt one again. We need serious penalties like this to stop these behaviors, or else no one has incentive to do better. These people just treat dogs like fucking property. And that's nothing. They don't treat it like a life that matters. And also we need huge fines for breeders to stop these backyard and for profit breeders. And even the breeders are dropping off whole litters of dogs into these shelters, entire litters of puppies, because they're not selling right now, because no one has money and inflation, and so they're just ditching these dogs at the shelters instead of stopping breeding, which makes no fucking sense. But anyways, I was just giving you guys a quick little update on what I'm doing here. Go follow my Instagram official JLux. Like I said, I am slowly uploading the videos here on YouTube too, but I also share them on my Twitter and I'm sharing them on my Facebook, and it's just hard to keep up and like uploading these videos and the descriptions everywhere. And they seem to be getting the most traction, and there's the most people involved in this community on Instagram right now. So please go follow there. And there's plenty more dogs coming. Like, I have a backlog, and I'm only uploading, honestly. I'm trying to do as many as I can in my free time. I'm only uploading like 10% of the dogs I'm seeing. And there's a lot on my account. That's how crazy. And this is only like a tiny percentile of the United States. This problem is happening across the entire country. Last year in 2023, it was 3.4 million dogs entered shelters last year. 3.4 million. It's going to be worse this year. People ditching dogs they got during COVID that they no longer give a shit about. They just used the dog for their entertainment during COVID, and now, see ya. Just drop them off like old used trash. People letting their dogs run around unspayed and unneutered, and they're repopulating. Strays are repopulating. They get strays coming in. 30% of that 3 million were strays. So this is the problem is way out of control, and people don't have a clue about how bad it is until you see the dogs, even just some of the dogs, and how many are dying. Then you realize how fucking bad this is. And we all need to do our part to try to make this right, because this isn't right. It's fucking heartbreaking, and don't let it get you down too much. Try to stay strong. You know, I'm one to say that because it's really hard on me, but I'm trying to celebrate the wins, and you can't let it. Sometimes you have to take little breaks. You have to take just a little bit of time for yourself here and there, or else this will crush you. It will crush your heart. It could make you more depressed. It can affect your mental health. So you need to, try not to get too consumed, but You just got to push through and know that you're fighting for good. You're fighting for the right thing, and you could be saving lives. And these dogs deserve someone to fight for them. They want nothing but to love and to give us love and be loved and be loyal, and this is how they're being treated. They deserve better. They did nothing to deserve this. Puppies are dying anywhere. Every age is dying. Puppies all the way up to seniors, everywhere in between. Dogs that did nothing wrong. And even if they did do something wrong, it's usually because they're in a stressed out kennel environment in a cage, okay, with strangers everywhere, non-stop, okay, and there's hundreds of other dogs barking loud. It echoes through the whole place. That's all they're hearing non-stop. So they get kennel stressed. Then we punish them for anxiety or poor behavior when they're kennel stressed. You can't blame them for that. Take an innocent person. What if I took you and locked you up in a cell, okay, for doing nothing, and neglected you and gave you the bare minimum for you to just not die in there? Don't you think you're going to get a little antsy? You're going to behave how you don't normally behave too, wouldn't you? Okay? Or they had been abused their whole life, their puppyhood, neglected, beat, abused, made to fight, used as bait dogs. Some of these dogs have went through a lot before they ended up in the shelter. Okay? And that trauma, okay, sometimes just like a kid, look at children that have gone through a lot. They can end up becoming, if that isn't treated and get help, kids can end up extremely violent. They can lash out, they could snap, they could hurt people, they could become killers from childhood trauma, okay? So you can't blame solely the dog because if in the worst case scenario, say it bit someone or something, it doesn't mean the dog deserves to die, okay? That dog needs to unpack, and it needs another chance, and it needs behavioral training, and it needs help, and it needs love and compassion. And it wasn't doing that out of being some vicious monster, right? It's a survival mechanism. It was doing it out of a place of trauma and fear, okay? And then going into the shelter just compounds that. So you have to just have some compassion here. Just sometimes it's just abandonment too, and that can affect the psyche a lot. Same with humans. Abandonment. There's someone their owner that's known, that the dog has known, they've known you their whole life. You were their owner. You're the only person they've ever known. You're their entire world. Then you abandon them. That abandonment even is very hard on a dog, right? It's world shattering. And these are the kind of things that can cause, little slip-ups or behavioral issues or separation anxiety or, some forms of aggression, like aggression towards another dog. Sometimes the dog just isn't good with other dogs, and that's okay. And it can cause these things, and sometimes it can get extreme anxiety. And when they're in that state of anxiety, or if they're scared and a stranger comes up, then they may bite. But again, that doesn't mean they're inherently a bad or vicious dog. And this is very few and far between. Most of the shelter dogs have never had any incidents. But I'm just saying, when they do have an incident, they shouldn't just be, euthanized immediately, because that's not right in itself. We don't do that to humans. We all make mistakes, right? When we have certain pressures and shit going on in our life and we're learning, and right, we make mistakes. We get a second. Do we get put down right away? If we get in a fight or punch someone, right? I'm just making examples, but so please try to have some compassion for these loving, sentient beings. Okay, that's the end of my rant. Just giving you guys an update here. Go follow Instagram, official JLux. Let's save some dogs. Much love. Have a nice weekend.